Electronic nicotine delivery systems, also known as ENDS, are devices that operate by heating a liquid solution to a high enough temperature so that it produces an aerosol that is inhaled. It is important to note while using an electronic nicotine delivery system is often called vaping, the device produces an aerosol, not vapor. These liquid solutions that are utilized are often called e-liquids. E-liquids almost always include nicotine, even though 63% of youth and young adult users are not aware that the product obtains nicotine. Additionally, e-liquids typically containing flavoring and a humectant such as propylene glycol to retain moisture and create the aerosol when heated.
Common names for ENDS include e-cigarettes or e-cigs. Other common names include vapes, vape pens, mods, and tanks. Mods gain their name due to the fact that their parts can be replaceable and modified. Additionally, Juul remains to be the top e-cigarette brand and took 73.4% of the e-cigarette marketplace by July 2019. The Juul maker claims that the products deliver nicotine content like traditional cigarettes, but delivers the nicotine 2.7 times faster than any other cigarette. The Juul has become so popular that teens and young adults often use the term juuling, which is a common verb for all e-cigarette use.
Throughout the years, 3 different generations of devices have been created, continuously improving their design. The first generation closely resembles a cigarette and is disposable. The second generation is a larger, usually pen-shaped device that can be recharged. The third generation are devices that do not resemble a combustible cigarette and often have very large and sometimes customizable batteries. E-cigarettes commonly have a sleek, high-tech design and have easily rechargeable batteries. These newer generations of e-cigarettes that include pre-filled pod systems and refillable systems use nicotine salt in the e-liquids. The nicotine salt formulas allow for much higher levels and efficient delivery of nicotine with less irritation. It is also extremely important to acknowledge that certain e-cigarette products can be used to deliver other drugs, such as marijuana.
Middle school e-cigarette usage rose from 0.6% in 2011 to 10.5% in 2019. Among youth who vape, 97% used a flavored e-cigarette in the past month. Additionally, 15 to 17-year-olds have more than a 16 times greater odds to be a current Juul user versus adults. Young people are reported to have severe signs of dependence, waking up in the night to get a nicotine fix, inability to concentrate in the classroom, as well as using immediately when they first wake up.
There are many risks associated with vaping, risks specifically concerning an adolescent's brain. Our brains do not stop growing until around the age of 25 or 26. Therefore, youth and young adults are uniquely at risk for long-term, long-lasting effects of exposing their developing brain to nicotine. It has been known for decades that youth in particular should not be exposed to nicotine because it changes brain chemistry to create a stronger addiction and make youth who use it more susceptible to addiction to other substances. Additional risks associated with vaping consist of mood disorders, permanent lowering of impulse control, changes in the way synapses are formed, and it can harm the part of the brain that controls attention and learning.
So how does addiction work? Each time a new memory is created or a new skill is learned, stronger connections or synapses are built between brain cells. Young people's brains build synapses faster than adult brains. Because addiction is a form of learning, adolescents can get addicted more easily than adults. The nicotine in e-cigarettes and other tobacco products can also prime the adolescent brain for addiction to other drugs.
As a society, we simply do not fully understand the negative long-term health effects e-cigarettes have. This is due to the fact that e-cigarettes started entering the market only 12 years ago. Even industry executives themselves acknowledge our lack of knowledge of the long-term impacts. However, with that being said, we are seeing more and more studies and cases of vaping-related illnesses. More than 2,000 cases have been reported across 49 states with 39 deaths. Important to note, most of these cases were from users who reported use of THC. Amongst the cases, 86% reported use of THC and 64% reported use of nicotine vaporizer products, and 11% reported excessively using nicotine vaporizer products. Samples that had been analyzed from the victims. The CDC states that it is possible that more than one compound or ingredient could be a cause of lung injury, and evidence is not yet sufficient to rule out the contribution of other toxins. It is important to understand that the flavoring and humectants used in the e-liquid has been approved by the FDA for oral consumption only. The FDA has not approved the flavorings or humectants for inhalation. Additionally, as previously stated, 63% of youth and young adults did not know the products could contain nicotine. This is a health crisis in itself. However, it is even more dangerous in the United States. This is more dangerous in the US because unlike other countries such as Europe, the United States does not have restrictions on nicotine concentration. In fact, Europe's nicotine concentration cannot exceed 2%, while nearly 3/4 of the e-cigarette market in 2018 in the United States had at least a 4% nicotine concentration.
There are many behavior risks associated with vape use among youth and young adults. This can include that the use of e-cigarettes is strongly linked to the use of other tobacco products. These products can include cigarettes, cigars, hookah, and smokeless tobacco. Additionally, there is evidence that suggests that e-cigarette use is linked to alcohol use and other substances such as marijuana.
When looking at the vape use amongst teens and young adults, it is important to understand their perspective of the substance. According to surveys, about 10% of U.S. youth believe e-cigarettes cause no harm, while 62% believe that they cause little or some harm. Additionally, 28% believe they cause a lot of harm when they are used some days, but not every day. In a recent study of perceived harm of e-cigarettes, it was found that only 49% of teens knew that e-cigarettes may harm teen brain development. Additionally, only 45% of participants knew that e-cigarette liquid is made from tobacco.
Some of the appeal that comes from e-cigarettes is due to the marketing tactics used by the e-cigarette companies, and this is by no mistake. E-cigarette companies are emulating their big tobacco siblings in order to entice kids in their market share, utilizing tactics such as social media campaigns with endorsements and ads from popular social media influences, as well as increasing nicotine content, marketing their product with colorful ads, and most dangerously claiming that their products are safer. These agencies are claiming their products are safer despite having no federal review of the products or their safety claims. These tactics are all utilized to target a generation of individuals who may not have been exposed to nicotine without the production of these products.
So what can you do if you or a friend is struggling with vaping? First and foremost, reach out. Reach out to an adult you trust. That may be someone in your family, or it may be a school counselor or social worker, or maybe even your primary care physician. If a friend reaches out to you and is struggling, have an open and honest conversation with them. Most importantly, be supportive and understanding. It is so important that you understand the dangers and risks associated with vaping, so continue to do your research and educate yourself.